Monday the 11th of November is Remembrance Day, which we mark with poppies. And I recently saw Daniel Cooper do a resin paper hack by mixing various colours with resin and smoothing it out between a piece of parchment paper and setting it, UV resin I should add. I've got some nail powders, and this is a red. I've got my UV resin, my parchment paper and my UV lamp. I'd like to try and make a poppy using the paper to make the petals. So let's see if I can do that. Right, so I've got my UV resin. I'm just going to put some into my pot. This is going to be very thin, so you don't really need a lot. Just add some of this red mica to my resin. It is UV resin. We are going to smooth it out, so the light should be able to penetrate, but we don't want to make this too strong. I will just mix a little bit of that powder in there. Probably going to need a little bit more than that. I'm just going to put my lid on before I knock that flying, because I know I will. Okay. I will open my parchment. Now I'm going to try and just put some blobs down which I can smooth into petals rather than having to cut the petals. Right, let's try those first. I'll close my paper over and I'm just going to push them with my fingers actually. Okay, they're roughly the same size. So now I will use my lamp to set those. Okay, that's done. I think they're probably thin enough not to need to cure from underneath. So let me peel off my petals. That's 1, 2, 3. I've got 3 so far. So the poppy I'm doing is called the Flanders poppy, and that has 4 red petals. So I'm just going to keep going and make multiples of 4, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do next. I do want to try and keep it in a blob rather than spread it out like I am. Same thing, I'm just going to use my fingers, spread them out. Cure those 2 and then I'll mix up some more. Okay, I just want to try something. I just crinkled my parchment paper. I've only done it on one side. And I'm going to make that the top side. So again, I'm going to just put my drop or drops. Let's see how many I can get out of the last of this. Okay, I've got 2 pretty good blobs there. That's probably gonna be it, I think. Right, let's fold that over. And again, just push that down. Oh, that's going to be a very weird shaped petal. I think that may be, it's almost like a butterfly. That may be the downside of doing this, is that it deforms the petals. Anyway, let's see if I can cure that now, and we'll have a look what happens when they're done. Right, so I've just flipped it over and cured it from the other side as well, in case it was a little thicker. Peel this off, if I can. Yeah, that's too weird of a shape to be used. It's also very thick. Well, I've got some really good texture there, but I've also got like a double piece of resin. I don't know that that matters. I'll try to do something with that in a minute anyway. Right, so let me move that out of the way. I've made a bunch of petals. So I've got 4 poppies here, and I will make some more off camera. That's what I've done for now. I've also made a whole bunch of little tiny ones. So now I want to construct them into a poppy. They're quite stiff and unmoldable. How many have I got there? 1, 2, 3. There should be 4. Okay, well, I'll sort that one out in a minute. Maybe I've got doubles there. So let's take 4 petals. I've got my cabochon mould here, and I'm hoping that if I use my heat gun just to heat this up, I can push them into the mould and set them into a curve. So excuse the noise, but let's have a go. I'm just holding it in place until it cools down. I can feel it under my fingers. And yeah, I think you can see that that's definitely worked. So I'm going to go and do the same to the others. Please be careful that you don't burn your fingers. It is getting pretty hot in places. But I think you can see that that's definitely working. And I'm getting some pretty good shapes there. So I'll do the rest of these off camera. And then I'll see if I can put them together to make a poppy. Right, I just want to add that I am holding these up and heating them up. I'm not heating them in the actual mould. I don't want to put any heat on my mould in case that ruins it. And then I'm just holding them in place until they set. And I don't want a huge curve on them. And if you're not happy, just reheat them a little bit and pop them back in and hold them again. My little tiny ones I'm just holding with a pair of tweezers and then pushing them into one of the smaller cabochons and repeat. Oops, stuck on my finger. Okay, I've just made a small cabochon. I put a little bit of clear in here, and then I've just coloured the top with a Sharpie pen, and then I put another drop on top. And I'm going to try and use that to stick all the petals to. I'll show you how I made it in a minute, but So I'm going to put a blob of the resin, and then I'm going to get my lamp and turn it on and hold this in place. Oh, I need about 500 hands here, and see if I can get that to set, which is why I did the bottom clear. So just bear with, see if I can get this to stick. Looks like it is. Okay, so now I've got that stuck to one petal. I've got something I can actually hold on to, and hopefully I can pop the other petals in place in exactly the same way. So again, I'll put a blob of resin and try and attach that, hold it in place without moving too much, and hold it under the lamp. Oh, not attaching. Yeah, I missed that bit. That's it, yeah. Right, so I've decided to put it on the bottom and hold that just to tack it into place. Okay, then I have a look. This might be a 3-petal poppy. Maybe I can do 4. Let's have a look. So again, a little bit of resin, increase the time on that. So put a little bit of resin, hold my petal in place and hold it under the lamp. Whoop, just hold it as still as I can until it grabs. Then I can just let it sit under there and cure. Okay, so I've got one more petal left to attach. Let's just offer it up and find the best fit. Yeah, I think that doesn't look too bad. So again, let me just turn this on before I add the resin. And oops, let's try that. Hold that into place. Oops, it's very difficult to hold it without actually covering up the resin. Come on, tack down please. Oh, I think I've missed my chance. Yeah. I think you could possibly, we could glue this. I was trying to do it as quickly as possible. I'm sorry, I've got all my fingers in the way there. I'm actually just curving it round with my fingers to see if that will stick, hoping I haven't actually cured the resin enough yet. I can add a tiny bit more. And then just hold that in place. Okay, and that's one poppy done. So I'm just going to do the rest. I'll put some music on and time lapse that for you.
fields where silence softly weeps, the sea of poppies gently sleeps, their petals crimson bright as flame, whisper softly each forgotten name. Oh, poppies bloom where memories lie, underneath the white forgiving sky, red as the love for those who've gone. In their glow we carry on. Beneath the sun their colors rise, a scarlet echo in our eyes. They tell of battles fought in vain, of hopes and dreams lost in the rain. Oh, poppies bloom where memories lie, underneath the white forgiving sky, red as the love for those who've gone. In their glow we carry on. Beneath the sun their colors rise, a scarlet echo in our eyes. They tell of battles fought in vain, of hopes and dreams lost in the rain. Oh, poppies bloom where memories lie, underneath the white forgiving sky, red as the love for those who've gone. In their glow we carry.
Okay, so that's another one done, and each one is going to be pretty much unique. So I will add some more to this, but I just want to finish making my poppies, which I'm going to do off camera, and once I have them all done I'll be back and I'll show you what I'm going to do with them next. Okay, so I've made 5 poppies here, and this one I didn't put a cabochon in the middle. I just dropped some glitter, black glitter in some UV resin, and I dropped that into the center. So I have some more here, and I am just going to add some little dots around the outside here, and just to make the shape a little bit more uneven. And then I can cure this, and I'm going to do the same to all of the pieces. Let's get that away from the window. I just want it to look a little bit more irregular, as it would in a real poppy. So I'm going to cure that, and I'll do the same to all the others. And there they are. I think that looks a little bit better. So now I just need some green garden wire, and this is the only piece that I currently have. So I am going to have to get some more, but I'll show you what I'm going to do with it. Let me just... Right, so I've got some snippers, and I'm going to take possibly, I think maybe if I snip that in half, and I can do 2. So I'm just going to put a very tiny, these are round nose pliers, move those out of the way for a minute, and I'm going to grip it between the pliers almost to the end and roll it round. Then I can release it, grab it again in the middle, and then twist it round. That gives me a circle. I'm just going to hold it at the bottom of the circle, and I'm going to pull back. And that basically creates like a long eye hook out of it. And that gives me a little bit more surface area that I can bond this to the back of my poppy with some resin, which is what I'm going to do now. So I will put a small amount of resin in that hole and cure it. Right, so I've got these now attached to my stems. I'm not really that keen on how shiny the black is on the middle, so I'm actually going to use a black acrylic paint just to paint it. This is quite a heavy-bodied acrylic paint, so I'm going to grab some here. And I'm just going to dab that in place, and I don't mind if I get lumps. In fact, actually I'm looking for a little bit of texture, and so I'm just adding some black, oh I'm sorry, you can't even see what I'm doing, in place, pouncing the brush up and down. Hopefully that will take some of the shine off, and I think that will look a little bit better. Grab some more and just bouncing it up and down. And then let that dry, and hopefully that should dry matte. And I think that looks a little bit better. So I will do the same for the rest of my petals, and I'm still waiting on some more wire, but once that's there I will put them all together and then I will show you what I'm going to do with them next. Because some of my petals were pretty thin, I've just mixed up some more of the mica into the UV resin, and I'm just using a silicone tool just to paint on the back of the petals, just to fill in any holes. There are some very tiny holes in some of them, so this is filling that in, and just to add a little bit of texture and depth to the petals so that they're not quite as see-through. I don't want them completely opaque. So I'm just painting a very, very thin layer on the back. And then I'm going to cure this. It just helps to make it a little less see-through, and to patch up any big holes that might be there. Not that there are, they are micro holes, but, and I don't mind that actually, because you know, petals, they're not completely solid sometimes, especially if bugs have attacked them. These are wild poppies, or meant to imitate wild poppies. So just do the last one on this poppy. Okay, that's going to do, so move that out the way, and then I will cure that. Okay, so I've done all my poppies now, and I've just got this piece of scrap wood, and I've drilled a bunch of holes, and because I have two different size wires on my poppies, I've had to drill different sizes of holes. I've drilled more than I need so that I can arrange these in any way I like, and also add more if I really want to. I'm going to leave the wood like this, but I do have some Rust-Oleum furniture finishing wax, so I'm just going to give this a wax over. And let me get that out. Grab my waxing cloth and I'll give this a couple of coats. I'm going to let it dry between this coat and then I will give it another coat just to keep the natural feel. You can paint it if you want to. I just happen to like this wood. Take that out. Grab a bit more. That's better. So I'm just going to rub this over the surface, and it really is just an old scrap of wood that I found in my shed. I just sanded it a little bit. So I'm going to let this soak in and then I will buff it off. I'm not going to put any on the bottom because I want to put a felt pad there and I want the glue to be able to stick. So just the top and the sides. Right, so I'm going to leave that now to soak in and then I will be able to fix my poppies in. Oops, let me just clean my hands off a minute. So when you put the poppies in, or when I put the poppies in, I can see that they move. I love these ones. They move around really nicely because of the thin wire. This is slightly thicker ones, so they don't move around quite so much. But I do want them to stop twisting around, so I will be putting a blob of glue in the bottom just to hold, or on the bottom of the wires just to hold them in place. And then it really is just a case of arranging them as you want them. And as I say, these keep falling around at the moment. I'll take some better pictures in a minute. So, resin poppies, or resin paper poppies. I'll show you this when I'm completely finished, but thanks very much for watching. If you liked this, please give me a thumbs up and comment. And I'd love it if you've subscribed to my channel if you haven't already. Come back and see what I might be doing next time. Thanks. Bye.
Fields where silence softly weeps, the sea of poppies gently sleeps, their petals crimson bright as flame, whisper softly each forgotten name. Oh, poppies bloom where memories lie, underneath the white forgiving sky, red as the love for those who've gone. In their glow we carry on. Beneath the sun their colors rise, a scarlet echo in our eyes. They tell of battles fought in vain, of hopes and dreams lost in the rain. Oh, poppies bloom